Hey folks, welcome back to Markelly Farm. We got a little extra bread that we need to use up before it goes bad because it's fresh. Doesn't last as long as the store-bought stuff because it's nothing but good stuff in here. So we're going to make dessert out of it. So we are going to make bread pudding, which is one of my favorite things to do with extra bread. And you can use any bread you want. You can use hot dog buns, hamburger buns, English muffins, whatever you got. A lot of times after big family get-togethers and stuff, there's a lot of bread left over, a lot of buns and stuff like that. And it's a good thing to use those up. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is we need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And then we're going to prepare our pan. We're using a 9 by 13 pan. We're going to line it with cooking spray in here. Or spray it with cooking spray. Just like that. We got a little bit on the edges too. So it's probably going to take this whole loaf of bread. We're going to tear it into little pieces, little chunks, and fill this pan with them. It's going to end up being about 6 to 7 cups of bread would be my guess. So here's our bread here. We're just going to break it up just like this. Starting to dry out a little bit, but that's not going to matter with the recipe that we're doing. Got our pan full of bread here. I would say it's about even with the top if you count the tip tops of all this bread. And that's about where you want it. We've got a little bread left over, but the chickens will enjoy that tonight. So we're going to mix up our wet ingredients now. Our wet ingredients start out with 3 eggs. And then to that we're going to add 5 ounces of sweetened condensed milk, not evaporated milk, even though we're going to use some of that too. To our eggs and sweetened condensed milk, we're adding 6.5 ounces of coconut milk. And to that, we're adding a whole 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. And then to that, we're adding a heaping ½ cup of sugar. So like that, see how it's heaped up? That goes in our mix. Let's get some salt. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We can kind of estimate that. So now we're going to stir all this up to where it comes together nicely. Got our mixture all mixed up real good. You want to make sure you break up all the eggs. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla in there. And then once that's stirred in, we need to dump our custard mixture all over our bread. Alright, now that we've got it all mixed, we can pour it all over. You want to pour it around. Not that it will bunch up at all, but as you pour it in, the bread kind of soaks it up as it goes. And we've got all that in. So now we want to come in here, we want to press down our mixture until the liquid comes up to the top of the bread. We're moistening all the bread. And then it's not quite coming to the top, so I'm going to add a little bit more. What I'll do is I'll add some more coconut milk, the rest of that can. This was a 13.5 ounce can, and I'm going to put probably about ½ cup of water in that as well. There we go, that looks much better. Make sure all of our bread gets moistened in there. Now some people will sprinkle cinnamon on top of this, but I do not. I like it just like this. Kelly doesn't like cinnamon either too much, so that works out as well. So now we're going to get some butter to finish this thing off. So we got a half a stick of butter, or quarter cup, and we put little pieces all over the top. This is right before it goes in the oven. You can see about how much liquid that you need. I probably have more bread in here than I normally use, because normally the liquid that for this recipe will come up. But don't fear if you use a little bit more bread. Just add the rest of that coconut milk or water or regular milk, whatever you need. So this is going to go in our 350 degree oven, and we'll let you know exactly how long this one takes when we pull it out. Now this bread pudding is going to differ from our normal recipe that we make because we're using Kelly's homemade sourdough bread, and it's going to be a sourdough bread pudding, which I think is going to be really interesting. I haven't used a complete recipe of sourdough. I've had a few pieces that I've thrown in here and there just to add to the rest of the bread, but this will be all sourdough. All right, 40 minutes and our bread pudding is out of the oven. May take longer, may take a shorter amount of time in your oven. Now, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top because that's the way Mom does it. And it adds just that little bit of sweetness on the top that you need. So there it is. Now, Mom sometimes would make like a caramel sauce to drizzle on top. You could do a little bit of chocolate sauce, whatever you want to do. I like it plain just like this. We're going to let this cool off, and then we're going to have us a piece. All right, let's get a piece going here. Still nice and moist. Look at that. Let's get a fork. Really good, all with that sourdough bread. Gives it another kind of layer there. Doesn't taste just like plain old bread pudding. Really gives it a nice flavor. Going in again. Got that really moist inside. You get that hint of the coconut milk in there. So good. You get a little bit of the vanilla. Fantastic. Well, that's another recipe you folks really need to try. Super good. But you can make it with any kind of bread. Again, you don't have to have the sourdough. But it does give it that little extra kick to it, which I really enjoy. So I have to take a piece of this to Mom because she really loves the bread pudding, and this is her recipe. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm.